In the news this week, how many seats for Pauline Hanson? Exclusive tipping on how much One Nation may gain in next year's state election.
Also tonight, Chinese New Year celebrations kick off in Perth today as the community gathers in Northbridge. Drugs, cash and weapons seized during police traffic stop in Mirrabooka. And later, Dr. Andrew Miller's comment.
This is The Evening News with Ivan Loon and Maliva Thorne.
Good evening. Minor political parties may bring more diversity very soon, with political experts tipping that Pauline Hanson's One Nation may gain some seats in the upper house under the new vote allocation reform. This follows WAMN News exclusively revealing that One Nation submitted their party registration before this week's deadline. Peter Kennedy provides his exclusive insight.
The latest news poll indicates that One Nation polling strongly and around 8-9% of the total vote. If that applies at Western Australia at the next state election, One Nation can expect to pick up 2, perhaps 3 seats in the Legislative Council under the new voting system. That introduces a note of unpredictability and there's the issue of small parties and the balance of power. So that is an important issue if One Nation can keep their profile up and can find an issue that will keep the major parties on their toes. At the same time as One Nation polling strongly, there is the move by the Australian Nursing Federation to register in Western Australia and nominate candidates for the election in March next year. The Nursing Federation, the state's biggest union and non-aligned. Most unions are affiliated with the Labor Party. The Nursing Federation has kept its independence, non-aligned, so it has the added advantage of being able to put pressure on both sides of politics to get an improved deal for the hospital system and for health in Western Australia generally. And the next question is, given the unhappiness about certain aspects of the health system, is not only how much support that the Nursing Federation candidates would gain, but also what they would do with their preferences, and if they had the balance of power, along with One Nation perhaps, and the Greens also would be around there, although the Greens mostly support Labor. There's not much doubt about that, in fact. You have the One Nation and the Nursing Federation, and you have the Greens. Small parties which could have a significant presence in the upper house. That adds a note of unpredictability, and it serves notice to both the Liberals and Labor that they must look after first the health system over the next 12 months, try and get those nurses on side, and also One Nation, try and get those votes back, or at least win preferences. That's the challenge ahead for the parties for the next 13 months. Remember, state election, March 2025. Peter Kennedy, WAMN News.
The city of Perth was a sea of red and gold this weekend as Chinese New Year celebrations lit up Perth. Hundreds gathered for the Year of the Dragon with 9 hours of celebrations, with everything from food to the traditional lion dance. Paige Reid was there.
Hundreds gathered for this year's Chinese Lunar New Year celebration in Perth. The colourful celebrations have lit up Perth for the last 12 years, with hundreds coming every year in a sea of red and gold. 2024 marks the Year of the Dragon, with last year being the Year of the Rabbit.
Well, everyone wants their children to be born in Year of the Dragon. Dragons are good leaders, so it's the most prosperous animal in the horoscope.
Red and gold covered the streets of Northbridge and Yagan Square in Perth as celebrations continued for 9 hours, reining in the new lunar year. Changhua Association WA's Honorary Secretary Jenny Chong believes that Perth residents enjoyed the experience of culture, performance, food and community celebrations.
So this is the 13th year that we've held the Perth Chinese New Year Fair. So despite the heat today, there's still lots of people coming to enjoy all the festivities. So we're really happy about that.
Many look forward to the next year's celebrations marking the Year of the Snake in 2025. Paige Reid, WAMN News.
Former Liberal leader Dr. David Honey expressed his disappointment at losing the pre-selection for the safe seat of Cottesloe.
Dr. Honey stated that the concerns raised to him was his age, but says he does not understand the mindsets of the pre-selectors. In an interview with WAMN News, Dr. Honey declared he would continue representing Cottesloe until the end of his term in 2025. He also congratulated Sandra Brewer for succeeding in the Cottesloe pre-selection.
Look, I'm going to fiercely represent them to my last breath. as the member for Cottesloe and beyond. I am determined that I'm really desperately concerned about what's happening in the western suburbs. The government's planning laws are an utter disgrace, and they are destroying my community, and they're destroying the communities in nearby electorates. Property developers are just a pervasive disease in all sides of politics. They don't care about what they're doing to communities. They only care about their profit and moving on to their next development. That is causing heartache right across Perth, but I might say more particularly right across the western suburbs.
Mirrabooka detectives have charged 3 men with multiple offences in relation to a vehicle stop this week. At around 6:45 a.m. on Wednesday, police stopped a grey Volkswagen Golf at the intersection between Yerrigan Drive and Farrer Road in Mirrabooka. The vehicle was occupied by 3 men, one of them known to police. The other 2 males are unknown. A search of the vehicle found a large quantity of cash and drugs on board. Upon further inquiry, it was determined that one of the men, a 29-year-old male, was wanted in Victoria with outstanding arrest warrants. Whilst being arrested, the 29-year-old man allegedly threw 2 clip-sealed bags onto the road. Upon the search of the vehicle, police seized several items, including almost $45,000 worth of cash, approximately 180 grams of methamphetamine, mobile phones, and knuckle dusters. 3 males aged 29, 31 and 32 have been charged with multiple offences. They all faced court this week.
WA's first pediatric hospice facility has commenced construction this week in Swanbourne. The purpose-built hospice, named Bujia, which translates to sandcastles, pays homage to the natural surroundings around the facility. Bujia will offer around-the-clock clinical support and end-of-life care to young patients in WA, thanks to a partnership between the Child and Adolescent Health Service and the Perth Children's Hospital Foundation. WA Premier Roger Cook remarked on the significance as construction begins on the project. Health Minister Amber-Jade Sanderson emphasised that this facility will serve as a home away from home for sick children in WA, offering support to families during their toughest times and serving as the central hub for coordinating statewide paediatric palliative care services.
As record temperature continues to hit Perth, the Cook government released their urban greening plan to boost tree plantation across the city. The strategy will be divided into 3 stages, with stage 1 being community surveys and stakeholder consultations. The plan aims to increase tree canopy and vegetation on government land using consistent digital data for measurements, creating green linkages, identifying priority urban hotspots for tree planting, and ongoing research aims to highlight the value of trees and urban forests. The opposition, on the other hand, says it took too long for the government to implement these changes as Perth and WA heats up.
We've had the lowest canopy cover in any capital city is in Perth, Western Australia, of any capital city in Australia. This is a really a big problem. People are worried about the loss of tree cover across our metropolitan area, and we see, though, that this government has done everything it can over the last few years with the changes to the planning system to actually take away the power of local communities to actually have a say about what their communities look like.
CSIRO did a study on Perth published in 2018. Every 1% reduction in tree canopy increases the daily temperature, maximum temperature, by 0.6 degrees. Now, you've got areas in Perth, look at the new suburbs popping up along the freeway, these infill areas. There's not a single tree in the entire new suburban development.
Another truck has been caught stuck under a railway bridge in City West this week. The incident occurred around Tuesday lunchtime at the intersection of Sunderland Street and Rose Street, when a southbound truck collided with the bridge's roof. Police and tow truck companies spent several hours at the scene, removing the truck involved in the incident. While this isn't the first time a truck has become stuck under a rail bridge in City West, the Bayswater Railway Bridge had trapped 70 overheight trucks before its demolition last year. Many local residents laughed and shook their heads as they walked past the scene, saying West Perth's railway bridge has done a Bayswater again. Traffic on Sunderland Street resumed later in the afternoon following the accident.
And now here's Dr. Andrew Miller with his weekly medical and news commentary.
Hi, thanks for your time. As we see more extreme weather, particularly this hot weather patch that we've been having now, and the authorities tell us that this is unusual. It's not just the way it used to be when we were kids. It is happening more frequently and off a warmer base. We're likely to see more health problems. And the acute problems are pretty obvious, and we still see people running on the streets and being outside in hot weather and not realising the limitations of our human biology, which is just that we cannot handle particularly high temperatures for an extended period, particularly the very young and the very old. So we need to take care of ourselves, avoid exercising in hot weather, avoid pushing ourselves, even in these mornings when it's getting close to 30 degrees when you're out early. Really important to stay hydrated, to check on your pets, check on relatives, and do what we can to make our environment more safe for those who cannot necessarily look after themselves. As far as pressuring government to do things about reducing climate change, really important in the future that we don't see increasing temperatures across the country, because that will lead to higher risk of all sorts of health problems. And that's one of the many reasons why we need to lean on the government to just reduce pollution. It's as simple as that. We need to have less gases and things going to our atmosphere so that we as humans can enjoy that most important right, which is the right to breathe clean air and have good health. Thanks for your time.
That was Dr. Andrew Miller. And now here's Leo with what's coming up on 6 News tonight.
Thank you very much, guys. The top stories we're following on 6 News right now. Car manufacturers sounding their horns over the government's new fuel efficiency standards. All 8 candidates for the upcoming Dunkley by-election confirmed. And 2 embarrassing stuff-ups in the A-League women. Those stories and the rest of today's headlines are on the hour, every hour here on 6 News. You can, of course, watch live on our YouTube channel whenever you want. For now, though, it's back to you.
Thanks, Leo, and happy Lunar New Year. What are you doing for Chinese New Year, Ivan?
Well, I suppose at the end of the day, a very long tradition. You know, you used to have lion dance, dragon dance when I was a kid in my village, and they give lots of red packets. Now, let me ask you this. What's inside a red packet?
From what I've heard, money from family?
It is. It's a sign of blessing, and it'll be, I suppose, a very interesting sight. And before we finish, I'll tell you this. If you want to give out red packets, you have to be married.
Oh, that's interesting.
You have to be married to give out red packets, but you're single, you can still receive it, and you still got a girlfriend, you can, or your partner, you can still receive it.
Oh, nice.
That's right. Right.
Gong Xi Fa Cai, Ivan?
Well, obviously, Gong Xi Fa Cai means has pretty prosperous New Year, and congratulations on prosperity. And this year is still going to be very tough for many West Australians, so we hope that you all do better in the Year of the Dragon.
And that's our weekly news and current affairs. We have the latest news on our website, wamnnews.com.au.
Remember to subscribe to the WAMN Extra News Club so we can continue our work in the community. Full details on wamnnews.com.au/news/extra. From Melly and myself, wish you good health, good night, happy Lunar Chinese New Year. See you next Sunday.
Thanks for watching.